Thanks for tuning in and welcome to this week's review of 1408, starring John Cusack and Samuel L. Jackson.
Gerald Olin, manager of the Dolphin.
If I can just get the key to 1408.
In the 95 years of the hotel's existence, there have been 56 deaths in 1408.
56.
No one's ever lasted more than an hour. The first victims to Kevin O'Malley.
Cut his own throat.
Do not stay in that room.
This is it.
When I first saw the trailer for this movie, I knew it had potential. It is a great trailer, and the only problem is, we've all been here before. You see an interesting trailer, but when it comes time to see the movie, it ends up being a waste of time and money. Well, not this time. This is a good movie. This is my kind of horror film. This film is creepy, funny, smart, and creative. I'm sure a lot of you watch this review are big Stephen King fans, and some of my personal favorites are The Dead Zone, Pet Sematary, Misery, Needful Things, and The Green Mile. But his all-time classics are Stand By Me and The Shawshank Redemption. And in the comment section below, post your thoughts on the best and worst Stephen King movies. 1408 starts out really well. There's never really a lull in the movie. Well, at least for me there wasn't. This movie starts out right on cue, and there is some build-up, but it never really stalls while it's building up. Some movies on their way to telling you a story can bore you to death. Not this one. It managed to tell the story and the backstory, all while keeping you interested in the characters and their history. This one did an excellent job of mixing the past with the present to keep you up to speed without boring you. The casting is outstanding. John Cusack is excellent. This is probably his best film and performance since Identity. And we finally get to see Samuel L. Jackson get back into form and away from some of those crap movies that he's done lately. Snakes on a Plane, anyone? Yeah, I think not. And the rest of the cast is great, and there really aren't any holes in this movie as far as the casting is concerned. The acting is on par with the casting, and what really helps a film is a smart script. Great writing and good direction can make an actor's job a lot easier. Probably the strongest point in this movie is it really does convince you that 1408 is a really messed up place to be. And knowing this is a Stephen King adaptation, one has to think of The Shining when it comes to a horror movie based on his work. This movie is a benchmark for all horror movies. It was not the goriest, the scariest, or even the most violent. It was just plain good. And think about it. You had the legendary director Stanley Kubrick doing a film based on Stephen King's work. And even though most of us know that Kubrick's final version wasn't ideally what King wanted, it is still one of those memorable horror movies of all time. In the beginning of the movie The Shining, you have the aerial shots going toward the Overlook Hotel, and it really helped establish the isolation of that area. And you knew by the opening shot that when things went wrong, you knew those characters were on their own. And this movie did a pretty good job of establishing some of that creepiness for the room 1408. And the dialogue between Sam Jackson and John Cusack is great. It's both serious and humorous. Now once we finally do get to room 1408, the menace of the room does pick up, and it does a good job of building up to a finale. And it does this in many creative ways. And the people who worked in this movie really did an incredible job of taking a small hotel room and making it into a very dynamic evil presence. There really isn't that much gore in this film, and there are some visuals, but nothing compared to today's films. This would be considered tame in comparison, and it just goes to show you that you don't need gore to get your point across, and doing it this way is actually much harder, because you have to have a good script and good actors to pull it off. If you don't have either of those, you're pretty much sunk. This film also has many ways it tries to scare you, creep you out, or flat out make you think you're on some sort of hallucinogenic drug, and also throws a few good curveballs at you too. This is actually a pretty trippy movie at times. Also, when the film does have things that are funny, they're actually genuinely pretty funny. Not over the top or anything that takes you out of the mood. It's just nice, subtle humor. And it's very nice to see a well-rounded movie that does succeed in most things it tries to accomplish. And I also thought the execution of the film was very solid. And I never felt like the film lost its rhythm or its direction. Now, the ending of the movie was pretty good, and I did like it. Now, it wasn't fantastic, but more importantly, I didn't feel let down at all. And I was really worried about the ending of this film because I've seen so many films, especially recently, that had a good thing going, but they just couldn't put that cherry on top. And this film's ending may not knock your socks off, but it won't make you feel cheated either. Overall, I did like the film, and I must say that if you had any interest in seeing this movie based on the trailer, then I don't think you'd be disappointed. This movie does have quite a bit to offer, and it was nice to see a good adaptation of another Stephen King story. And also, remember to post your picks for the best and worst Stephen King movies in the comment section below. From overall rating, I give 1408. 4 stars.